So we are multiplying a binomial times a trinomial. We have here parentheses 2y plus 4, close parentheses, times parentheses 3y squared minus 5y plus 2, close parentheses. Now, once you learn how to multiply using the distributive method or the box method, you can multiply any polynomial. All right, FOIL does not apply here because FOIL is only for a binomial times a binomial. But if you are using arrows, that idea we can use. So we have 2y that's going to distribute to everything in the second set of parentheses. All right, so the 2y distributes to the 3y squared minus 5y plus 2. And so I'm going to write that below. We have 2y to the 3y squared is 6y cubed. 2y to the minus 5y is minus 10y squared. 2y to the 2 is plus 4y. Okay, now what about the next portion? Okay, we have the positive 4 being distributed to the 3y squared minus 5y plus 2. Okay, I'm going to be clever again, and I'm going to write my terms underneath. So 4 times the 3y squared plus 12y squared plus 12y squared. Then 4 times the minus 5y minus 20y. And then 4 times the 2 plus 8. Notice how I lined up my terms vertically and my like terms are in the same vertical column. So first column, I'm going to simplify this. We have 6y cubed. Second column, we have minus 10y squared plus 12y squared. The result is plus 2y squared. Remember, you're adding or subtracting the coefficients, not the exponents. Secondly, we have plus 4y minus 20y. The result is minus 16y and then plus 8. And that is your answer. So one thing to notice, originally you had 2 terms being multiplied by 3 terms. 2 times 3 tells us initially we should have 6 terms. So we did. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then once we simplified like terms, we did have less. So that's a good way to check to make sure when you're multiplying, you didn't skip anything. All right, so here we have another one. We have parentheses z squared plus 3z minus 2, close parentheses, times parentheses 3z squared minus z minus 5, close parentheses. Okay, so you want to make sure you distribute everything. You have 3 terms by 3 terms. So 3 terms times 3 terms will mean 9 terms, and then you simplify. So I would recommend, if you need it, use the box method or just distribute. So go ahead and pause the video and then we'll do it together. All right, hopefully you have successfully finished that. So let's go ahead and try this. All right, so I am going to distribute this. Z squared has to distribute to 3 terms in the second set of parentheses. All right, so that's going to give us z squared times 3z squared is 3z to the 4th. Z squared times minus z is minus z cubed. Z squared times negative 5 is minus 5z squared. Okay, now it can be helpful to use different colors to keep track of your arrows. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to use my green for the 3z, and I'm going to use this up top too. So the 3z, oh, not green yet, there we go. 3z is being distributed to the 3z squared, to the z, and to the minus 5. So 3z times 3z squared is 9z cubed. And then 3z times minus z is minus 3z squared. And then 3z times minus 5 is minus 15z. Okay. And then lastly, we have the minus 2 that we need to distribute. Minus 2 to the 3z squared, to the minus z, and to the minus 5. So that's going to give us minus 2 times 3z squared is minus 6z squared. Minus 2 times minus z is plus 2z. And then minus 2 times minus 5 is plus 10. So notice how I tried to be clever throughout all of this, and I lined up my work vertically. In each of the columns, I have like terms. So now, first let's just count to make sure we have 9 terms total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Perfect. Now let's combine our like terms. The first column, we have 3z to the 4th. The second column, we have minus z cubed and plus z cubed. So that gives us plus 8z cubed. The third column, we have minus 5z squared, minus 3z squared, minus 6z squared. So that gives us minus 11z squared. Then we have minus 15z plus 2z. So that's minus 13z. And then plus 10. That was a big one. So if you try this using the box method, you might have noticed that the organization is a little different, but it is helpful. So I want to show that as well. So I'm going to do this again. And this time I'm going to use the box method. So I'm going to draw a big enough square to accommodate my problem. And when you're doing the box method, you want to make sure it matches the number of terms in each set of parentheses, which we have a 3 by 3, 3 terms times 3 terms. So my box is 3 terms by 3 terms. And then on the left side, I'm going to put z squared plus 3z and minus 2. Along the top, I'm going to put 3z squared minus z minus 5. And I'm going to use this to guide me. So I'm not going to lose track of any arrows here. So 3z squared times z squared is 3z to the 4th. And then z squared times minus z is minus z cubed. Z squared times minus 5 is minus 5z squared. Next, we have 3z times 3z squared. We have 9z cubed. 3z times minus z, we have minus 3z squared. 3z times minus 5, we have minus 15z. Minus 2 times 3z squared is minus 6z squared. Minus 2 times minus z is plus 2z. And minus 2 times minus 5 is plus 10. There are my 9 terms, and if you want to write these out, you can, or you could just simplify them coming out of the box. So starting with the 3z to the 4th, there's no other like terms, so I'm just going to write that. Then we have our z cubed terms. Simplify those, 9 and minus 1, so that's plus 8z cubed. Then we have our z squared terms. So -6, -3, and -5. So that's going to be -12 z squared. And I think I might have made a mistake earlier on that. I'll go back to it and fix it. And then we have the next one, the z terms. So we have -15 and +2 minus 13z, and then plus 10. All right, let's go to the previous one. Did I make a mistake there? I sure did. -5, -3, and -6 is -12. Sorry about that. So our answers should match. So we have 3z to the 4th, 8z cubed minus 12z squared minus 13z plus 10. All right, looks good.